Zoning and Economic Development Committee. It is May 28th. It is 4:01 p.m. Will clerk please call the roll?
Chairperson Mike Seville.
Here.
Vice Chair Patty Smith.
Here.
Alderman Javier Buñuelos.
Here.
Alderwoman Juani Garza.
Here.
Alderman at Large Will White.
Here.
5 present.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes, 25-0431. Approval of the minutes from the BZ&E Development Committee held on May 14th, 2025. Is motion made for approval by Alderwoman Smith. Is there a second? That's okay. Second by Alderwoman Garza. Any corrections, additions, or deletions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Do we have any members of the public wishing to give comment?
Yes, we do.
Okay, will you please read the rules?
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the BZE committee for up to 3 minutes, with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair, for the purpose of maintaining order, may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the BZ&E committee shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment.
Will the clerk please read the name of the first person?
Mr. Joe Lusk.
Mr. Luck. Welcome. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you. My name is Joe Lusk. I've been a 50-year member for Aurora Turners. I'm asking the Planning Commission is just a table this request for 2 weeks. Based on, according to Aurora Turners bylaws, I can present this, that there are not in compliance with our Constitution of going forward with the request. The membership has not voted on this. So I'm asking for a table so they can present something of evidence that this has been approved by the membership.
And Joe, you're talking about 25-0421, right?
Yeah, for Aurora Turners.
Okay, thank you.
Did I get-
You can just put on the dais there. Is anyone else willing to give public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay, we'll close the public comment section then and move right to the agenda. The first item was 25-0421, ordinance annexing property located at 1231 Mitchell Road to the city of Aurora, Illinois, 60505.
Could you read the next? I think there's 4 of them total.
Oh, this total, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
25-0422, an ordinance establishing a conditional use plan development at 1231 Mitchell Road to be incorporated under the existing Aurora Turner's plan description under Parcel A, and amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Aurora, by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to an underlining zoning of B2 Business District, General Retail. 25-0423, an ordinance vacating a portion of dedicated public right-of-way for High Street located north of East Indian Trail in King County, Aurora, Illinois. And the last one is 25-0424, resolution approving the final plat for Aurora Turners Club subdivision located at 1231 Mitchell Road, 1215 Mitchell Road, and 500 East Indian Trail. Tracy, take it away.
Good afternoon, Tracy Basic, Senior Planner with the Zoning and Planning Division. There is 4 related petitions currently under review and being processed concurrently through the separate actions. Number 1 is the annexation. This petition only pertains to the property that's located at 1231 Mitchell Road. The rezoning and conditional use plan development would be number 2. This action also is specifically to 1231 Mitchell Road. The plat of vacation, this applies to that portion of High Street north of Indian Trail. And then number 4 is the final plat, and this petition encompasses 1231 Mitchell Road, 1215 Mitchell Road, and 500 East Indian Trail. The petitioner is requesting annexation of the 0.3 acre property into the city of Aurora at 1231 Mitchell Road. This site is currently contains a single-family residence and is proposed to be annexed with R1 one-family dwelling district zoning. At the same time, or concurrently with this proposal, they are requesting a rezoning and conditional use plan development. This includes the property at 1231 Mitchell Road, and it's actually going into an existing Aurora Turner conditional use plan development and rezoning the property from underlying R1 one family dwelling district to B2 business district general retail. As part of this, the city of Aurora is requesting to vacate a portion of High Street right away north of East Indian Trail due to recent development activities in unincorporated King County. This has led the city to determine that the extension no longer is feasible or necessary. Upon vacation, the land would be conveyed back to the Aurora Turner's Club in accordance with the standard regulations. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background, in 2003, when the Turner's Club annexed these properties at the 1215 Mitchell and the 500 East Indian Trail, they were the ones that actually dedicated it to the city. So we're just dedicating it back to them because it is not feasible because of some of the development that has occurred since then. And then lastly, the petitioner is requesting approval of the final plat for the properties located at 1231 Mitchell Road, 1251 Mitchell Road, and 500 East Indian Trail. The request includes the consolidation of the vacation portion of High Street, the four existing lots into 2 new lots. Lot 1 would consist of the property with the existing house, which is being proposed to be demolished, and the vacant property at 1215 Mitchell Road, and the western half of the vacated High Street. This lot is intended to be sold for future commercial. And then Lot 2 would consist of the eastern half of the vacated High Street, and then 500 East Indian Trail, which is currently utilized by the Aurora Turner Club for recreational purposes. So with that, I think that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
I just have one off the get-go. Mr. Lusk gave testimony prior to our meeting in public comment section. Can you address that?
Yes,
I will let the
exactly.
petitioner address it because I am not sure how their bylaws read.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody have any questions of the committee?
That was my question.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, please, proceed.
Hi there, my name is Dina Weiss. I'm the financial secretary for Aurora Turners and currently speaking on their behalf. We have thrice presented this motion to the board and to membership. So we actually have voted on this repeatedly, and it has been presented in the records. So we are hoping to, everyone had been on board with it, so board and so on.
And there's not going to be any votes in the future or necessary
There is
to
no
proceed,
intention,
Dina?
and no, there has never been, we have been approved by the board to do this,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Ma-
Alderwoman Smith?
What are the number of board members you have on that board?
So there are 12 of us,
12. So 12 board members voted and approved this
unanimously, yes.
unanimously. Okay.
Okay. I have a question of Tracy, if I can. And I talked to Ed Sieben earlier today about this. We had a 45-year plan of connecting High Street to Mitchell Road. Can you address that as to why we're abandoning that, just for the records?
Yeah.
And so some of the newer aldermen can understand what we're doing.
Yeah, so, we were planning on connecting High Street to Mitchell Road, but what happened was that in recent, I think it was probably 3 years ago, Mundy Landscaping went in and they had built a building, so it's unfeasible now to actually make that connection. So that's why we took a look at it again. Honestly, I don't know how much it was saving on going down to High Street anyways, so I know that the engineering has taken a look at that and they decided that it was not feasible, nor was it not necessary,
Mhm.
so.
Okay. And once we do this and this land is opened up for new development along East Indian Trail, What is their ingress and egress point? Is it on Mitchell or is it going to be on Indian Trail?
I would assume that they might have some kind of access onto Mitchell. I don't know if that would be a full or just a right in, right out. But they will have, they will be able to utilize the new signalized light at High Street and East Indian Trail there.
Yeah, that was my question, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any
I just,
questions?
I just have a comment. I just
Alderwoman Smith.
want to make sure that our public comment person, perhaps if you guys could take a minute to, not you, afterwards to have that discussion. I don't want him to think that we are dismissing what he said to us, but if you're confirming that you indeed have voted on it, I'm ready to say, let's move forward.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
And this is just the first item. This is 25-0421. Motion to approve is on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded by Alderwoman Smith and seconded by Alderwoman Garza. Any further discussion? Anything more to add from staff? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried, 5-0. And the second one, 25-0422. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. Anything more to add of staff? Any questions of staff? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Third one is 25-0423. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. Any further discussion? Any questions of staff? Anything more to add, Tracy? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried, 5-0. And the last one is 25-0424.
So moved.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion been made by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. Any further discussion? Any questions of staff? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Thank you. Okay, the next item is, I'm going to request that this be held in conversation that I had with Alderman Mesiacos in the 3rd Ward. This is 25-0438, resolution approving the final plat for Mason subdivision on vacant land located 1127 Thomas Street and 1129 Thomas Street. He wants the ability to sit down and chat with the mayor a little bit about the direction of this land before we proceed. So he's just asking for a 2-week holdover.
Is that normal policy that an alderman can do that?
We've done that as a courtesy.
Okay.
I mean,
I understand, but I just, so it's not, are you guys good with us holding this?
I mean, it's city-owned property, so we're not in a rush. So if we
Yeah.
need to take the time, I think we're okay with that.
okay, so we'll hold this then for 2 weeks.
Which is the next 2 items?
No, just
No.
the one item, right?
Just the one
Yeah,
item.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is, or the next two, I should say, I'll read them both off, is 25-0441, a resolution approving the final plat for lots 1 to 51 of Abbey Meadows subdivision on vacant land located on the east side of Radon Road at Mesa Lane Extended. And then 25-0442, a resolution approving a final plan on Abbey Meadows subdivision located on the east side of Radon Road and Mesa Lane Extended for a right-of-way dwelling, party wall, 1130 use.
Hi, good
Hi there.
afternoon,
Good
Jill
afternoon.
Morgan, Senior Planner. I'm just going to briefly introduce the project, then I have, the petitioners do have a brief presentation they would like to present to you.
Great, thank you.
So this subject property is currently vacant. As you recall, about 2 months ago, we rezoned the property from R1C, one family dwelling district with a conditional use, being part of the Marmion plan description, to R4AC, two family dwelling district, and OS1C conservation open space and drainage district, and we created the new Abbey Meadows plan description. They're coming in now. At the time they showed us preliminary plan and preliminary plat, they are coming through for the final plan and plat. They are requesting a final plan to develop the property with 220 townhomes and a mixture of 2-story traditional style homes with a front-loaded 2-car garage and a 3-story urban style home with rear entry garages. The final plan is in compliance with the approved preliminary. Only minor changes, they did add an additional path up at the northeast detention, close to that, to connect this townhome development for the proposed development to the north.
And as you recall, we also had a rezoning for the area to the north for single families. So we're doing a path to connect the two so we can have cross-access for everyone, particularly for the students. The landscape plan, and they'll go through this, and they have some renderings to show you all in compliance with the draft we saw at preliminary. They were very emphasized having a berm along Redant with some heavy screening, particularly evergreen trees. We've also added some additional evergreen trees along the eastern property line, which is mostly detention, but we added some few evergreen trees just to get some more buffering to the developments to the east. Is there any questions for staff before I hand it over to the petitioner for a formal presentation?
Any questions of staff at this point?
Yes. So you're talking about some of the property is going to be for seniors?
No,
Oh,
it's
oh.
not. It's townhomes, but no age restriction.
Okay, okay, I understand. You say something about seniors? So, no,
No seniors. No.
all right.
Okay.
Because there's the kids
Developer wants,
crossing every time.
I'm sorry, what?
The guys from the school, some people, they not like it when sometimes have so much pedestrians walking around and all that. So that's what I'm asking that.
Yeah, I mean, this was part of, originally was proposed for Marmy expansion.
Uh-huh.
So they are part of the selling of this property for this development. So they
Okay.
are very aware of what is coming in.
Okay.
okay. Mr. Philipchuk. Welcome, John.
Enter. Yep.
Hello, I see we have a couple of new faces on the BZE committee. Welcome. My name is John Philipchuk. I'm an attorney with offices at 111 East Jefferson Avenue in Naperville, Illinois, here representing Cal Atlantic, the Lennar Group, on this proposed townhouse development. As staff mentioned, this is part of the Marmion Academy property, and they felt that going forward that this was some unused land that they would not be using, and so they've entered into a contract to sell it, and there's a Pulte development that some of you have seen, a single-family homes to the north, and some of you have seen and voted on the preliminary for this particular development. And at that time, that was on March 11th, that the City Council approved the preliminary plan and the plat for this particular development. Now, Lennar currently has a couple of projects that are more recent in Aurora. Over on the east side, Liberty Meadows off of Liberty Street. That's a townhome development that they have built there, and they're currently working on a single family, and that one's designed for senior citizens. Over on Prairie Street is called Prairie Meadows on the west side of Aurora. So they're a very large home builder, the second largest nationally in revenue and closings in 2024, and so we're looking forward to coming in with this particular development. Just an aerial photo to show you exactly where it is. It's north of Butterfield Road, along Redant Road. Butterfield Road, that frontage there to the south, that's designed for future commercial use. And then we're adjacent to the Savannah Crossing, which are existing townhomes in the city of Aurora. And then to the north is that vacant piece, that's the Pulte piece. And then the Kirkland Farm subdivision is touching on our lots. But what we were able to do is design the project such that we were able to put the detention facilities basically as a buffer to the single-family homes. And then we have two other stormwater detention facilities that back up to the Savannah Crossing townhomes. So we have a nice separation of land uses here. Mesa Lane will be extended, and that will give us a nice intersection with the drive, the main drive that comes out of the Marmion facility. And so part of what we're going to be doing there are some road improvements, and we'll be adding some left turn lanes so that if you're northbound, you'll be able to make a left-hand turn into the Marmion property, and there'll still be a through lane. And then if you're southbound and want to come into Mesa, you'll be able to store and make a left turn, or you can go straight. So those will be good traffic improvements in that particular area for that. So you can see on the general outline, the outer buildings are what we call the traditional. Those are the front-loaded where the garages are in the front. And I'll show you pictures of that here shortly. And then the interior, inside the loop streets, those are the urban townhomes. This shows the lot makeup as far as where the buildings will be sitting. We've got a couple of park sites, if you will, but one is more like a sitting area. The other one has got a piece of play equipment and a roofed over shelter. And again, we'll see pictures of that. So in the colored rendering, here you can see the landscape plan. As Jill mentioned, there's a berm and considerable landscaping buffer that's being put in along Redant Road. And then the northern edge of the property adjacent to the single-family homes that Pulte will be putting in, again, a larger area of screening in that area, and then again down at the south end, because that is planned for future commercial, as I said, another additional heavier landscaping there. And then, as staff mentioned, along the eastern edge where we have the detention facilities, they also asked us to increase the year-round landscaping, the evergreen type of trees would go in there. And then you can see some of the photographs of a representative what that landscape is going to look like in those colored pictures. Here's the example of the playground equipment and that pavilion that I mentioned on lot 49. And then there's a smaller area on lot 51. It's a seating area where people can gather. That's part of the public space there. It'll be part of the Owners Association covenants. These are not public, they're private. This is that traditional front-loaded garage product that I mentioned. They run from 1,700 plus square feet up to 1,800 square feet, and they're all 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths in these particular units. And those are the ones that are around the perimeter. Those are the light-colored units that are there in the picture. And then the urban, this is the front elevation of the urban townhomes. This is a 2.5-story look if you see it from that side. These are a little larger units. They go from 1,764 to over 2,200 square feet. But again, they're 3-bedroom units with 2.5 baths, 2-car garages. So we've got a picture here of more of the units. You can see kind of what the rear looks like if you look below the 2-story townhomes, and what the side is with the accents with the side entries. They've used a mixture of materials. We've got stone on part of the fronts. We've got some hardy board. We got some vinyl siding, and so they mixed up the colors and the variety of the materials on the facades. This is just some of the interior shots of the rooms as to what they would look like in the traditional townhomes. A couple more interior looks of the space. And now we're at back to the urban townhomes. Again, you can see the 2.5-story on the front side. And then the rear, where the garages are, that's where you have the 3-story. So you've got the parking is actually under in that part of that first story. So, and again, the mixture of materials on the exteriors are blended, and so you get a nice varied look with the different, some's vertical, some's horizontal, and then the stone that's added. This gives you an idea of what is in the lower level besides the garage on the urban townhome, and then the first floor plan, and then the upper floor and the 3 bedrooms. So you can see how that floor plan looks. And again, these are some typical how those unit in those rooms, what they look like. And they got, again, because of the various sizes, some of them, you can do more with them. There's more area that's usable. But again, all 3-bedroom, 2.5-car garage, or excuse me, 2-car garages. On the initial construction, we are putting conduit in so that in the event that a person were to buy a unit and want to put in the electric for a EV car charger, the piping will already be installed, and then whatever, depending on what equipment they need for that particular automobile, they just run the wiring for it. And also, we're going to have some conduit run into the attics in the event that at some point in the future they might want to look at some rooftop solar panels. That's all done, so it's already in place. We have various items in the Energy Star program that we will meet. It's all got 2x6 wall construction with R21 insulation, the attics R38 insulation. We got the various units in there, like the furnace, 96% efficient. We got the low E glass to keep the sun from heating up the interiors. The HVAC system has got the energy recovery ventilator, and so bottom line is they're designing their units so that they can be as energy efficient as we can. These are just drawing staff had requested. Initially, we had a carriage light on one side of the garages. They wanted us to add carriage lights on both sides of the garages, which makes sense, and we agreed to do that. So all of the garages will have carriage lights on either side of them, and again, gives you an idea of the elevations. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have as far as it goes, but we worked well with the staff on this, and they had some good input for us, and Marmion's excited to see the land developed, and so we're hoping that you will also agree to support this and move it forward to a full city council.
Thank you, John. Any questions of the developer?
Yes,
or Lennar?
question.
Alderman Garza?
So obviously they don't have no basement, right?
No.
And they don't, what is the laundry room, or they want to put it some in the kitchen?
That lower level?
In the lower level?
Yeah, that's where you could have washer, dryer. There'll be plumbing there for that.
So they want to have the plumbing and everything there?
Yes.
But, okay. Yeah, it's important.
Just to
So you're
comment.
talking about the material, is mixed brick and stone, you say?
It's stone is what, it's a stone that's on the front, it's not brick.
But only in the bottom part?
Yes, at that lower level. And it wraps, in some places it wraps around the sides of the building.
And the rest is vinyl?
Some of it's vinyl, yeah, and then we've got some hardy plank.
No, it's actually, instead of hardy plank, it's actually, let's go back to,
Okay, if you want to go there.
yeah. Whoops. Wrong way. Okay, so what it is it's a mix of 3 different types of the heavier vinyl. The horizontal, they also then do shake siding, which is kind of like the lap stuff, and then also vertical, so it has 3 different textures to it to really make that pop, as opposed to just having one type of siding. And then the brick, as you can see, is on the lower portion. I don't know if you can see on your screens or not.
Mhm.
And then also we working with staff, they asked us to make sure that we kind of made a little bit more attractive the sides of the homes that are up against the streets. And that was working with Jill and Tracy and Ed on that. So you'll see that there's called out street side elevations. And then also with this, there's also the 3 different types of siding with the kind of shake stuff at the tops, and then the vertical accents, and then the horizontal within the 3/1 window panes. And then you can see on the side there, the street side one is the one, the side entrance. That way it has a lot more pop to that also, where the ones that are inside, where the homes are side by side, getting to the side of the garage and everything to have the house, the doorway come in that way doesn't make sense. So those are then the non-street side elevation that allow the door to be right up against the front, or right where the garage doors are.
Okay. Well,
This is Tim Kellogg from
yeah.
Templeton Consultants,
Well, that's
by the
okay,
way.
yeah, it's kind of, yeah, the stone look nice, it's a good it's like a decoration and attraction to the buyers. But
also another
also,
point I'd
it's
like-
good for us to have energy with the vinyl part, like architects. So the vinyl, the area where they have vinyl is also good for save energy.
The key thing with the energy for the walls is they're actually 2x6, where a lot of homes are just 2x4s. Lennar actually does 2x6 construction, so the boards are deeper. That way they can put thicker insulation in, and that really creates that wall of energy transfer.
Good, to put a good insulation, because some of the new houses, I know my daughter have a brand new house, and they don't have much insulation. The house is very cold. They have a real nice decoration outside, but inside is they heat it all the time, 75, 76, and it's still cold. And it's because they don't have good insulation. That's why I'm asking the question.
Oh, absolutely. Just wanted to point out, I don't know if John mentioned, this photo here is actually Liberty Meadows. These are homes that Lennar built in Aurora several years ago. I can't remember if you were on BZE at that point or not, but so they are very well versed in working with Aurora as far as architectural, building permits, all that. And this was one of, I think, the first or second most popular, successful home building communities in all the Chicago area for Lennar. So people just were pretty much knocking down the doors to come live in Aurora. So
All right,
it's great to
thank
see.
you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Smith?
Just a comment, my other hat is real estate, so I have shown the Liberty Meadows over in Aurora multiple times, and I've had clients purchase there, so you guys build a nice product. I like the mix in materials. I think it's very classy, it's very unique, but I motion to move forward with these.
Motion been made for approval
Second?
by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. I have a question of staff. Just for the future, I know Ed's going to be abandoning us. Well, I'm sorry, retiring soon. So, but this is more to staff and especially Tracy. I really like the conditions that the Lennar is imposing upon themselves with regard to the EV charging and the EV, the solar panels, and also the Energy Star certification requirements. Is there a way that we can consider upgrading our codes to make this standard for all future development that comes in our city?
So the EV has already gone into effect. So there has to be conduit in all of these units
Okay.
per the state code. So that is already in effect. For some of the other upgrades, I know that building and permits are actually looking to go to the 2024 building code, which I believe some of those upgrades are probably within that code. So they are working through that. I know that they're looking at some other stuff too, so I will pass that on
Great.
and see what is in there and what is not.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, motion's on the floor. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, wondering, what are the projected price points on these homes?
Again, Jim Kellogg. The projected price points are, and it's rough at this point as they work on the final marketing, but the front load traditional are gonna be about 400 or so thousand apiece. And as John mentioned, the urban back load ones are a little larger, so they're gonna be more maybe 440, 445 or so likely for the sales prices.
Okay, and that's pretty much in line with, I guess, average home prices in the area for newer developments?
It actually exceeds.
Okay.
We actually looked a little bit at Savannah Crossing next door, and their homes are about resale right now about 316 or so, and then even the single family Kirkland Farms are about 500 or so, but they're larger single family homes. So to have townhomes in that 4 to 440-ish range really does bring things up. And when we even looked at price per square foot, it actually exceeds the adjacent communities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion or questions? Anything more to present from staff, Joe? No? Okay, this is the 25-0441. We have a motion on the table and a second. Please call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried, 5-0. And the second one, 25-0442, is there a motion?
Second?
Moved by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. Any further discussion? Anything more to add from staff? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Any other business come before the BZ&E committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
A motion made by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderwoman Garza. All in favor say aye for
Aye.
adjournment. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. We are adjourned 5-0 at 4:36 p.m. Thank you, one and all.